Hi, everyone. This is my presentation on visual impairment and what we can do to help in the classroom. So what is visual impairment? The Individuals with Disabilities and Education Act defines it as an impairment in vision, even with correction, adversely affects a child's performance. The term includes both partial sight and blindness. Visual impairment is an umbrella term, usually describes consequences of an eye condition or disorder. Vision loss can be caused by many different things. Some types of visual impairments: nearsightedness, also known as myopia; farsightedness; strabismus, eyes looking in different directions and do not focus simultaneously on a single point; congenital cataracts, where the lens of the eye is cloudy; retinopathy of prematurity, light-sensitive retina hasn't developed sufficiently before birth; retinitis pigmentosa, a rare inherited disease that slowly destroys the retina; and colomboma, where a portion of the structure of the eye is missing. Some more continued on here. We have the optic nerve hypoplasia, underdeveloped fibers in the optic nerve which affect depth perception, sensitivity to light, and acuity of vision. Cortical visual impairment, damage to the part of the brain related to vision, but not the eyes themselves. Here's some common traits of visual impairment. Irregular eye movements, for instance, eyes that move together or that appear unfocused; unusual habits, covering one eye or frequently rubbing eyes; sitting abnormally close to a TV or holding a book close to the face; crossed eyes, eyes that bulge, dance, or bounce in rapid movements; repeated shutting or closing of one eye; unusual degree of clumsiness; and frequent squinting, blinking, eye rubbing, or face crunching. Also avoiding tasks that require good vision. How common are visual impairments? Visual impairments are very common and increase as we grow. There are over 455,462 children right now with vision difficulties. These are children who have serious difficulty seeing even when wearing glasses, and those who are blind. Of those 42,000, children have a severe vision impairment. They're unable to see words or letters in ordinary newsprint. Also, of those 61,739 children who are in an educational setting are legally blind. How does visual impairment affect learning? The learning that takes place via vision must be achieved using other senses. Hands are a primary information gathering tool for children with visual impairments, along with other senses. Developing good learning or listening skills are also very important. Using the other senses should not be looked on as learning through lesser senses, but that learning is equally important. So just because they can't see with their eyes or have problems seeing with their eyes doesn't mean that they're less capable through their ears, through their hands, through taste, other senses. So we're going to try a little experiment here to see what it's like to be visually impaired in a classroom. All right, so for the next part of the presentation, I want you to close your eyes. I'm going to present some information traditionally using lecture and slides to simulate what it might feel like for a student with a visual impairment to be part of your general classroom. So are you ready? I'd like you to close your eyes now until I tell you to reopen them. Remember, no peeking. All right, as you can see, the animal on this screen is pretty fast. We're going to learn some very interesting facts about this animal today. The habitat of this animal has been shrinking over time. As you can see from the map, it used to cover a much vastly different area than it does now. The yellow showing its former habitat, the green showing where it is located now. And then I have some traits up here of the habitat where you can find it. All right. These are very fast mammals. I have some interesting facts up about those mammals. Just remember, it's considered one of the biggest of its kind, or and its coat makes it hard for them to find. So it's a very endangered animal. Right now, they only have about 11% of its former range. There are only about 7,100 of these left in the wild. I like this picture. The picture makes me look like it's staring right into my soul. All right, you can open your eyes now. I'm going to go through the slides, show you what you missed. Some of you may have guessed the animal that I was talking about. Some of you might not have. It's hard without all of the visual cues that we go through. And we take some things for granted when we're teaching. So we're looking at the cheetah. As you can see in the habitat, there shows the habitat in yellow, which I was talking about, where it used to be, and the green where it is now. Some facts that you didn't see, because I didn't specifically talk about it, was that it ranges from dry forest and thick scrub through grasslands and Sahara Desert. Once again, you'd be missing a lot. You have this awesome picture of the adult cheetah kind of giving a bath to the tiny cheetahs, and some facts I didn't even talk about, like after it catches its prey, it needs a half hour to catch its breath before it can eat. And again, here's the picture of the cheetah kind of staring into your soul, and talks about the future of the cheetah. So it's an interesting little experiment showing that so much of what we present in the classroom is done visually, and how we need to adapt that so that we're including all those facts, maybe a description of the cheetah, and some other things would have helped, and maybe a way that we could touch and you could feel the outline, bringing the other senses into it, so that other kids or kids with visual impairments could see. So some strategies for the classroom. We need to adapt the environment. So some things that we need for the child to be successful in the classroom. Child has to have the ability to move safely and independently, which is known as orientation and mobility. Using assistive technologies for the child with visual impairment so that it helps them to learn. You need to use what residual visual vision they have effectively. Read and write in Braille. Visual materials used in the classroom should be adapted for students with visual impairment. When using manipulatives or models in the class, which are good because you're using your hands, you need to allow that student time to learn about those manipulatives before the project begins, so they can concentrate on the learning that needs to be achieved with manipulatives and not just learning how to manipulate them or what they are. Some more strategies. Some good resources, adapted textbooks or audio tape texts can be used in the class. Classmates can be designated note takers, and their notes can be transcribed to audio very easily or to Braille if the means are available for the student to refer back to. The teacher should develop auditory cues to help the student. They should also focus on teaching good listening skills throughout the process. A lot of their information is going to come orally and through the listening, so we need to make sure that that is a priority. For those students with more visual ability, you can adapt by using magnification devices as part of the adaptive technology. So another thing to keep in consideration when you have a visually impaired student is how you set up the room. You need to keep the visually impaired student in mind when setting up the room. You need to keep aisles, desks clear and easy to navigate. You don't want to introduce any sudden changes to the room without preparing the student first. And also you need to take them into account when you are designing emergency procedures such as tornado drills, fire drills, so that they can safely exit the building or find safety in the emergency situation. So in conclusion, integrating students with visual impairments in the general classroom can be accomplished by just modifying some of the things you do. They are completely capable of learning using their other equally important senses. There should not be a reason why visually impaired students cannot be adapted into the general classroom. Thank you for watching. Bye.